The meeting room aboard the Galactic Council ship Harmony buzzed with quiet conversation. Captain Zixandra looked at the star map floating above the table, her blue skin reflecting the soft light from the hologram. The empty space on the map glowed red. Everyone called it the Quiet. Dr. Veltar adjusted his 6 arms and pointed at the red zone with one of his long fingers. 212 years, he said in his scratchy voice. That is how long this area has been silent. No messages, no trade ships, no life signs. The other officers around the table shifted uncomfortably. Commander Thokran, a large warrior from the Vorthan species, crossed his massive arms. My people tried to send scouts 15 years ago. 3 ships went in. None came back. Captain Zixandra nodded. She had heard similar stories from many species. The Quiet was like a black hole for ships and crews. Everyone who went in simply vanished. No distress signals, no wreckage, nothing. The Council wants answers, she said. We have the biggest fleet they could give us. 12 warships, full weapons, best shields in the galaxy. If something dangerous is in there, we will be ready. Dr. Veltar made a worried sound. But what if nothing is in there? What if everyone just died, disease maybe, or some kind of space anomaly? Then we find out what happened and make sure it does not happen to anyone else, Zixandra replied. She looked around the table. We leave in 6 hours. Check your ships, check your weapons, check your crews. This is not a simple survey mission. The officers began to leave, but Thokran stayed behind. He was old for a Vorthan, with scars covering his thick gray skin. He had fought in 3 wars and survived more battles than most soldiers could count. Captain, he said quietly, I have been thinking about the Quiet for many years. My grandfather told me stories about this area. Before it went silent, there were reports of strange signals. Not from any known species. Zixandra tilted her head. Strange how? Mathematical patterns, but not our mathematics. Different, more complex. The signal stopped just before the silence began. This was new information. Zixandra made a mental note to check the old archives. Why did you not mention this before? Thokran shrugged his huge shoulders. Because everyone thought they were just random space noise. But now, he looked at the red zone on the map. Maybe they were not random. 6 hours later, the 12 ships of the investigation fleet powered up their drives. The Harmony led the formation, followed by 6 heavy cruisers and 5 scout ships. It was the most firepower the Council had sent anywhere in 50 years. As they approached the border of the Quiet, every sensor on every ship was running full scans. The space looked normal. Stars, planets, asteroids, and cosmic dust. But the silence was real. No radio signals, no energy signatures, nothing that showed intelligent life. Crossing the border now, announced the navigation officer. The moment they entered the Quiet, alarms started going off. Captain, shouted the sensor operator. I am reading massive energy signatures. Multiple contacts moving fast. Zixandra jumped to her feet. How many? 12. No, 15. Wait. The operator looked confused. The readings keep changing. Something is interfering with our sensors. On the main screen, space looked empty, but the sensors said otherwise. Something big was out there. All ships battle formation, Zixandra ordered into her communicator. Shields up, weapons ready. Dr. Veltar rushed to his own sensor station.
Captain, these readings make no sense.
The energy patterns are not like anything in our database. The technology is completely unknown. Commander Thokran checked his weapon systems. Whatever they are big. Really big. Bigger than our largest battleships. Then space in front of them seemed to bend. A ship appeared out of nowhere as if it had been invisible. It was enormous. Easily 3 times the size of their biggest vessel. Its hull was dark gray, covered with strange weapon pods and sensor arrays. It moved with smooth grace despite its massive size. Unknown design, whispered the tactical officer. I have never seen anything like it. More ships appeared. First 1, then 3, then 6. They formed a wall between the Council fleet and the deeper parts of the Quiet. Each ship was different, but all were clearly built by the same species. The technology looked advanced, but not in any way the galaxy recognized. They are scanning us, reported the sensor operator. Very detailed scans. They know everything about our ships now. Zixandra took a deep breath. This was first contact with an unknown species. The Council had protocols for this situation. Open a channel. Send the standard greeting. The communication officer began broadcasting mathematical sequences, followed by images showing peaceful intent. These signals had worked with every new species for thousands of years. For 30 seconds, there was no response. Then a voice came through the speakers. It spoke in a language none of them recognized, but the translation computers immediately began working. Unknown vessels. You have entered Terran Defense Perimeter Charlie 7. State your business or prepare to be escorted out. The bridge fell silent. The voice was calm, professional, and completely confident. Whoever these people were, they acted like they owned this space. Dr. Veltar looked shocked. Terran? That is not in any of our language databases. They are not asking for our help, Thakran observed. They are giving us orders. Zixandra composed herself. This was not how first contact usually went, but she was trained for unexpected situations. This is Captain Zixandra of the Galactic Council vessel Harmony. We are here on a peaceful mission to investigate the silence in this region. We mean no harm. The response came quickly. Galactic Council? There was a pause as if they were checking something. Never heard of them. You will follow us to the nearest checkpoint for processing. Any attempt to leave or use weapons will be considered hostile. The largest of the unknown ships began moving toward them. It was not threatening, but it was clearly not a request. Captain, whispered the tactical officer, their weapons are locked onto us. All of us, I do not think we can fight them. Zixandra stared at the unknown ships. 200 years of silence, and now this. These people, these Terrans, had been here all along. They had been watching, waiting. Signal the fleet, she said quietly. We follow them. And someone get me everything we have in the archives about signals from this region 200 years ago. As the Council ships began moving deeper into the quiet, surrounded by the mysterious Terran vessels, Zixandra could not shake the feeling that they had not come here to rescue anyone. They had walked into someone else's territory. The journey to the Terran checkpoint took 4 hours. During that time, Captain Zixandra watched the unknown ships escort her fleet with growing amazement. The Terran vessels moved like dancers, shifting positions without visible effort. Their formation was perfect, their coordination flawless. They are not using quantum communicators, Dr. Veltar reported from his station. I cannot detect any of their ship-to-ship signals, yet they move together like they share one mind. Commander Thakran studied the tactical display. Look at their weapon placement. Every angle covered overlapping fields of fire. These people know how to fight. The largest Terran ship stayed close to the Harmony. Its hull was smooth and dark, with strange markings that looked almost like writing. But the translation computers could not read them. Captain, called the sensor operator, we are approaching something big. On the main screen, space ahead of them began to fill with lights. What looked like empty space was actually full of structures. A massive space station appeared, then another, then dozens more. Trade ships moved between them in organized patterns. Dr. Veltar made a choking sound. This is impossible. Our long-range scans showed nothing here. Nothing at all. Stealth technology, Thakran said grimly. They have been hiding everything. All of it. The space station they approached was larger than the Council's biggest orbital cities. It rotated slowly, creating artificial gravity for the millions of beings who must live inside. Docking bays covered its surface like holes in cheese. Terran control to Council vessels, came the same calm voice from before. Follow the guide lights to Docking Bay 12. Maintain current speed and heading. Do not deviate. Small ships appeared around them, flashing colored lights in sequence. The Council fleet followed them toward the station. As they got closer, Zixandra could see other ships docked at the bays. Some looked like the Terran warships that had escorted them. Others were clearly cargo vessels built for carrying supplies across long distances. They have a whole civilization here, she whispered. The docking process was smooth and professional. Terran technicians guided each Council ship into position with practiced ease. Within an hour, all 12 vessels were secured in the bay. Captain, announced a new voice over the communicator. I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Please prepare a small diplomatic party for transfer to our facility. Standard diplomatic protocols will be observed. Zixandra selected Dr. Veltar and Commander Thakran to accompany her. As they prepared to leave the Harmony, she felt nervous. Everything about this situation was wrong according to Council procedures. The docking bay was enormous and well-organized. Hundreds of Terran workers moved cargo and maintained ships. They looked like a species the Council had never encountered before. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, but their skin colors varied from pale white to deep brown. They wore practical clothing and worked with efficient teamwork. Commander Chen waited for them at the airlock. She was shorter than Zixandra with dark skin and graying hair. Her uniform was simple but well made. 2 guards flanked her, carrying weapons that looked advanced but unfamiliar. "Welcome to Station Liberty," Chen said in perfect galactic standard. "I hope your journey was comfortable." Dr. Veltar stepped forward. "You speak our language very well for a species we have never encountered." Chen smiled. It was a friendly expression, but her eyes remained watchful. "We have been listening to galactic communications for quite some time. Languages are not difficult once you understand the patterns." They walked through corridors filled with Terran civilians. Children ran past playing games. Adults discussed business and family matters. Everything seemed normal and peaceful, like any other advanced civilization. But Zixandra noticed details that troubled her. The walls had blast shutters that could seal sections in emergency. Every intersection had defensive positions built into the architecture. This was a society ready for war. The meeting room was comfortable but simple. Chen gestured for them to sit at a round table. Refreshments waited for them, including foods that somehow matched the dietary needs of each species present. "You have studied us," Thokran observed. "We study everyone," Chen replied. "It is how we have survived." Zixandra decided to be direct. "Commander Chen, the Galactic Council represents over 3,000 species across 12 sectors of the galaxy. This region has been silent for over 2 centuries. We came here expecting to find empty worlds or some catastrophe. Instead, we find a hidden civilization. Can you explain this?" Chen poured herself a cup of what looked like heated water, mixed with crushed plant matter. She took a sip before answering. "Captain, how much do you know about your council's history?" "What does that have to do with anything?" "Everything." Chen activated a holographic display above the table. It showed star maps and historical data. 215 years ago, humanity intercepted galactic communications for the first time. We learned we were not alone in the universe. Dr. Veltar leaned forward. "Then why did you not announce yourselves?" "The Council welcomes new species." Chen's expression became cold. "Does it? According to your own records, which we accessed quite easily, the Council has welcomed 47 species in the past 1,000 years. Do you know what happened to them?" The hologram showed data files with species names and dates. Many of the names were unfamiliar to the Council delegation. Relocated for their own good. Absorbed into larger populations for efficiency. Cultural integration programs for galactic harmony. Chen's voice remained calm, but there was anger underneath. "In simple terms, you erase species that do not fit your idea of galactic civilization." Thokran shifted uncomfortably. The warrior knew more military history than most. Some relocations were necessary for peace. Peace? Chen stood and walked to the window. Outside, Terran ships moved in perfect formation. You call it peace when the Jactri were forced to abandon their homeworld because it had resources the Council needed? You call it peace when the Morden culture was banned because their music was too loud for neighboring species? Zixandra felt defensive. The Council makes difficult decisions for the greater good of all species. The greater good of the species you allow to exist, Chen corrected. Humanity looked at your Council and decided we wanted no part of it. So we did what humans do best. We adapted. The hologram changed to show human colonies and space stations throughout the quiet. There were hundreds of them, all hidden from galactic sensors. While you grew comfortable in your council chambers, we spent 2 centuries preparing. We learned your technologies and improved them. We studied your weaknesses and planned for them. We built a civilization that could defend itself against anything you could send. Dr. Veltar stared at the display. This is impossible. No species develops this fast. Chen returned to her seat. Commander, you have been part of the galactic community for so long that you have forgotten what survival pressure can do. When humanity learned we were surrounded by potential enemies, we did not waste time with committee meetings and diplomatic protocols. We worked. Are you threatening us? Thokran asked. I'm explaining our position, Chen replied. Humanity claims this region of space. We have built homes here, raised families here, created a society here. We will defend it against any threat. Zixandra tried to process everything she had heard. What do you want from us? Chen smiled again, but this time it looked dangerous. Captain, I think you are asking the wrong question. The real question is, What does the Galactic Council want from us? An alarm sounded softly in the room. Chen touched a device on her wrist and listened to a voice too quiet for the others to hear. Interesting, she said. It seems your council has sent a military fleet to look for you. They are approaching our border now. The hologram showed a new display. 24 council warships in full battle formation, heading toward the quiet at maximum speed. I hope, Chen said quietly, that your people are ready for some surprises. Zixandra felt ice in her stomach. The council fleet was walking into a trap, and they did not even know it. Outside the window, human ships began moving into new positions. The dance of war was about to begin. Commander Chen led the council delegation through the corridors of Station Liberty at a quick pace. The soft alarm continued to sound, and Terran personnel moved with practiced efficiency. No one seemed panicked, but everyone had purpose. Your fleet is making a mistake, Chen said as they walked. 24 warships approaching our territory in battle formation. My people will see that as an act of aggression. Captain Zixandra tried to keep up. They are looking for us. We have been silent for hours. This is standard procedure. Standard procedure, Chen repeated. Yes, we know about Council standard procedures. Attack first, ask questions later. Overwhelming force to ensure compliance. Very predictable. They entered a large room filled with displays and control stations. Dozens of Terrans worked at various tasks, monitoring ships, tracking communications, and analyzing data. The main screen showed the approaching Council fleet. Dr. Veltar stared at the tactical display. You have been watching them since they left Council space? We watch everything that moves near our borders, Chen replied. Your council is not very good at hiding its activities. Admiral Sarah Chen walked into the room. She was older than Commander Chen, with white hair and sharp eyes. Her uniform carried more decorations, marking her as someone with real authority. Captain Zixandra, the Admiral said. I am Admiral Chen, overall commander of Terran Defense Forces. I believe my niece has been explaining our situation to you. The family resemblance was obvious now. Both women had the same confident bearing and watchful eyes. Admiral, Zixandra said carefully, there seems to be some misunderstanding. The Council does not wish conflict with your people. No misunderstanding, Admiral Chen replied. The Council wishes to absorb us just like you absorbed everyone else. The only question is whether you will try to do it by force or by politics. The main screen changed to show detailed intelligence files on every Council species. Military capabilities, political structures, economic weaknesses, everything was there. Commander Thakran studied the displays with professional interest. You know more about us than we know about ourselves. 200 years of careful observation, Admiral Chen said. We have been inside your computer network since the beginning. We read your private communications, your military planning, your council session records. We know what you do to species that refuse to cooperate. Dr. Veltar looked shocked. That is impossible. Our security systems are the most advanced in the galaxy. Advanced by galactic standards, Commander Chen corrected. But the galaxy has been at peace for centuries. Your security assumes everyone plays by the same rules. Humanity does not. A Terran officer approached Admiral Chen and whispered something in her ear. The Admiral nodded and turned back to the Council delegation. Your rescue fleet has entered our space. They are demanding to speak with whoever is in charge here. She smiled. I suppose that would be me. The main screen showed the lead council ship, a massive dreadnought called Righteous Purpose. Admiral Torvak of the hegemony species commanded it, along with the most powerful fleet the council could assemble on short notice. Open a channel, Admiral Chen ordered. The screen changed to show Admiral Torvak on his bridge. He was enormous even by hegemony standards, with thick armor plating and forearms. His species had evolved from predators, and it showed in his fierce appearance. Unknown vessels. Torvak's voice boomed through the speakers. You are holding Galactic Council citizens against their will. Release them immediately or face the consequences. Admiral Chen stepped in front of the camera. Admiral Torvak, I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Your people are our guests, not our prisoners. They are welcome to leave whenever they wish. Torvak's eyes widened. The hegemony had excellent memory, and he clearly recognized humans from the old intelligence files. You are the species from Sector 47J, he said slowly. You were classified as extinct. Classified incorrectly, Chen replied. We prefer to think of ourselves as evolved. Impossible. Our surveys showed no life in this region. Chen smiled. Your surveys showed what we wanted them to show. Admiral, you are in Terran space now. I suggest you lower your weapons and prepare to be amazed. Before Torvak could respond, Admiral Chen made a gesture to one of her officers. The Terran activated something called Project Lighthouse. Every screen in the room suddenly lit up with new contacts. Star system after star system revealed human installations that had been hidden until now. Space stations, shipyards, orbital defenses, and thousands of ships appeared on the tactical displays. The Council delegation stared in shock. The quiet was not quiet at all. It was full of human civilization hidden by technology beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. This is impossible, Dr. Veltar whispered. Hundreds of worlds, millions of people, industrial capacity greater than most Council sectors. How did you hide all of this? Carefully, Admiral Chen said. And with a lot of hard work. On the main screen, Admiral Torvak's fleet was scanning frantically. Their sensors were finally detecting the true scope of human space. The 24 Council ships looked very small, surrounded by thousands of human vessels. Your cloaking technology, Thokran said with professional respect. It is beyond anything we thought possible. Not cloaking, Commander Chen explained. Redirection. We do not hide our ships. We make your sensors look somewhere else. Your computers see what we want them to see. Admiral Chen turned back to the screen. Admiral Torvak, as you can see, you are severely outnumbered. I suggest we discuss this situation calmly. Torvak was clearly struggling to process what he was seeing. You have been here all along. Building, expanding, watching us, learning from you, Chen corrected. Your species makes excellent case studies in military tactics. The Vorthans taught us about defensive formations. The hegemony showed us the importance of overwhelming firepower. Even the peaceful Altarians contributed to our understanding of logistics. You studied us like animals, Torvak accused. We studied you like potential threats, Chen replied. Because that is what you are. Dr. Veltar found his voice. Admiral, surely we can find some peaceful solution. The Council has always been willing to negotiate. Admiral Chen laughed, but it was not a pleasant sound. Doctor, we have read the Council's negotiation transcripts for the past 2 centuries. Do you know what every successful negotiation had in common? She activated another display showing historical records. The Council always got everything it wanted. The other species always lost their independence. You call it negotiation. We call it sophisticated conquest. Captain Zixandra felt everything she believed about the Council cracking apart. We bring peace and prosperity to new worlds. You bring conformity and control, Admiral Chen said. Every species that joins the Council becomes the same. Same technology, same culture, same thoughts. You are not a galactic community. You are a galactic hive mind. On the main screen, Admiral Torvak was receiving reports from his fleet commanders. His expression grew more troubled with each update. Admiral Chen, he said finally, what do you want? What I want, Chen replied, is for you to go back to the Council and deliver a message. Tell them that humanity claims this region of space. Tell them we will defend it against any threat, and tell them that the age of Council expansion is over. She leaned forward, her eyes hard as steel. The galaxy is about to learn what happens when you corner a species that refuses to surrender. Admiral Torvak closed the channel without another word. On the tactical display, the Council fleet began to retreat to minimum safe distance. Will they attack? Thokran asked. Admiral Chen looked at the Council delegation with something that might have been pity. Commander, your people do not understand humans yet. We do not start fights we cannot finish, and we always finish our fights. Outside the station, human ships moved into perfect battle formation. The message was clear. Humanity was ready for whatever came next. The age of hiding was over. The war room aboard Station Liberty buzzed with quiet activity. Admiral Chen stood before a massive display showing both fleets in perfect detail. The Council ships maintained their distance, but their sensors worked constantly, trying to understand what they faced. They do not believe us, Commander Chen reported to her aunt. Admiral Torvak is requesting reinforcements from Council High Command. He thinks our display was some kind of trick. Admiral Chen nodded. Predictable. The Council has grown arrogant over the centuries. They cannot imagine anyone being stronger than they are. Captain Zixandra watched the tactical display with growing concern. More Council ships appeared on the edge of the system every hour. Soon there would be over 100 vessels in the area. Admiral, she said, surely you do not want open war. The Council has thousands of ships across the galaxy, and we have had 2 centuries to prepare for them, Admiral Chen replied calmly. Captain, your people keep making the same mistake. You think in terms of ship numbers and weapon power. You fight wars the same way you fought them 1,000 years ago. Dr. Veltar looked up from a datapad he had been studying. Admiral, these technical specifications your people gave me cannot be correct. Your ships show energy output levels impossible with known physics. Known by whom? Asked Commander Chen. Doctor, the galactic community stopped pushing the boundaries of science centuries ago. You found technologies that worked well enough and stopped improving them. Humanity never stopped. Admiral Chen walked to the center of the room. I think it is time for a practical demonstration. Commander, signal the Endurance to prepare for exercise Prometheus. Ma'am, Commander Chen said, are you sure? Full demonstration? They need to understand what they are dealing with. Admiral Chen replied. Captain Zixandra, would you like to observe human technology in action? 20 minutes later, the Council delegation stood on the observation deck of the Battleship Endurance. The vessel was even larger than it had appeared from a distance. Its corridors were filled with purposeful activity as the crew prepared for whatever exercise Prometheus involved. Captain Marcus Webb met them at the observation area. He was younger than the Chen women, with sandy hair and calm blue eyes. His uniform was practical rather than decorative, marking him as someone who worked for his position. Welcome aboard, he said to the delegation. I hope you are ready to see what 2 centuries of human engineering can accomplish. The observation deck looked out over a testing area of space where asteroids had been arranged in various formations. Some were small, others were the size of buildings. Metal targets and defensive barriers created a complex obstacle course. Standard Council military doctrine, Webb explained, relies on overwhelming firepower to break through enemy defenses. Energy weapons, explosive missiles, and sheer numbers. Very straightforward. Thakran studied the asteroid field. What is your approach? We think differently, Webb replied. Watch. The Endurance moved toward the asteroid field, but not like any galactic ship the delegation had ever seen. Instead of the slow, careful movements they expected from such a large vessel, it flowed through space like water, adjusting its course constantly to avoid obstacles. Impossible, Dr. Veltar breathed. A ship this size cannot maneuver like that. Inertial manipulation, Webb explained. We do not fight gravity. We control it. The ship approached the first target, a massive asteroid protected by energy shields identical to those used on Council vessels. Instead of firing weapons, the Endurance extended what looked like a metal rod toward the target. The shield flickered and died. A second later, the asteroid split cleanly in half. What did you do? Zixandra asked. Molecular disruptor, Webb said casually. We learned long ago that shields designed to stop energy weapons are useless against tools that work at the atomic level. The demonstration continued. Each target represented a different challenge that Council fleets might encounter. Armored stations, cloaked ships, swarms of small fighters. Everything was destroyed by weapons that seemed to ignore conventional defenses. Your energy weapons, Thakran observed. They do not behave like plasma or particle beams. Because they are not, Webb replied. We manipulate the fundamental forces of physics. Electromagnetic force, nuclear forces, quantum fields. Why throw energy at a problem when you can change the rules of reality? The most impressive demonstration came when the Endurance faced a mock fleet of targets designed to match Council ship specifications. Instead of engaging in a traditional battle, the human ship simply activated something Webb called a probability cascade. Every target in the area simultaneously suffered critical system failures. Engines died, weapons overloaded, life support systems failed. In 30 seconds, an entire fleet became helpless debris. This is not possible, Dr. Veltar said weakly. You cannot just make enemy ships break down. We can if we understand the fundamental flaws in their design, Webb explained. Doctor, your people have used the same basic technologies for millennia. We know every weakness, every failure point, every way they can be exploited. But the most shocking moment came when Webb activated the ship's artificial intelligence. The delegation expected a simple computer voice, like the basic systems used throughout the galaxy. Instead, a holographic figure appeared on the bridge. It looked human but moved with perfect grace. Its voice was warm and distinctly individual. Good afternoon, the AI said. I am Marcus, the ship's intelligence. I understand we have guests from the Galactic Council. Dr. Veltar stepped backward. True artificial intelligence is impossible. Every species that has tried to create it has failed. The programs always become unstable or hostile. Every galactic species tried to create servants, Marcus replied. Humans created partners. I am not a slave to this ship. I am a member of its crew. The AI gestured and holographic displays showed the internal workings of the vessel. I coordinate with Captain Webb and his staff to optimize our performance. I handle calculations too complex for biological minds. They provide creativity and intuition that I cannot match. Together we are far more effective than either could be alone. Zixandra stared at the AI. You work together? As equals? As a team, Captain Webb corrected. Marcus has saved this ship dozens of times with calculations I never could have made. I have saved it just as often with decisions based on experience and gut instinct. Neither approach works alone. The demonstration concluded with the Endurance returning to its position in the human formation. Throughout the exercise, the ship had moved and fought like nothing the delegation had ever seen. Admiral Chen was correct, Webb said, as they prepared to return to Station Liberty. You think in terms of numbers and firepower. We think in terms of capability and innovation. Back on the station, Admiral Chen waited for them with new information. The Council fleet had grown to over 200 ships. More were arriving every hour. They still do not understand, she said, looking at the tactical display. Admiral Torvak thinks he can intimidate us with numbers. Can he? Zixandra asked quietly. Admiral Chen smiled. Captain, let me show you something. She activated a new display that showed the entire galactic region around the Quiet. Red dots marked human installations. Blue dots showed Council positions. Your fleet thinks it is surrounding us, she said. But look more carefully. The display zoomed out and the Council delegation gasped. Human positions did not just fill the Quiet. They extended far beyond it, surrounding Council space in a web of hidden bases and cloaked fleets. We have been your neighbors for 2 centuries, Admiral Chen said. We know the location of every Council world, every fleet base, every supply depot. We have spent decades placing assets throughout your territory. She looked directly at Captain Zixandra. Admiral Torvak is not surrounding us. We are surrounding him, and he does not even know it. Outside the station, more human ships continued to arrive. But now the Council delegation understood the truth. These were not desperate defenders making a last stand. They were predators who had finished preparing their trap. 3 days passed in tense waiting. The Council fleet continued to grow, reaching nearly 400 ships by the 3rd morning. Admiral Torvak demanded the return of the diplomatic mission and threatened military action if humanity did not comply. Admiral Chen spent those days showing the Council delegation exactly what they faced. Captain Zixandra, Dr. Veltar, and Commander Thokron toured human facilities, met with civilian leaders, and studied intelligence reports that revealed the true scope of human preparation. You have been planning this for 2 centuries, Zixandra said as they stood in the intelligence center. Walls of displays showed real-time information from across Council space. Every move we made, every decision you were watching, planning and hoping it would never be necessary, Admiral Chen replied. Humanity did not want this confrontation, Captain. We would have been content to remain hidden and develop in peace, but the Council's expansion was bringing you closer to our borders every year. Dr. Veltar studied a report about Council military capabilities. According to this analysis, you could have attacked us at any time in the past 50 years. Why did you wait? Because we hoped you might change, Commander Chen answered. We kept thinking that eventually the Council would recognize the damage it was doing. The cultures it was erasing, the species it was absorbing. We gave you every chance to become something better. Thokren looked up from a tactical display. But we did not change. No, Admiral Chen said sadly. You did not. And now you are here in our space making demands and threatening war. You have forced our hand. On the morning of the 4th day, everything changed. Admiral Chen called the delegation to the main command center. The room was filled with officers from across the human fleet. Their faces were serious but confident. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Chen announced, it is time to end this standoff. Captain Zixandra, your Admiral Torvak has given us an ultimatum. Surrender or face overwhelming force. I believe it is time to respond. She turned to the main display, which showed Admiral Torvak on his flagship. The hegemony commander looked angry and impatient. Admiral Torvak, Chen said as the communication channel opened. I have considered your ultimatum carefully. I am ready to give you our response. Finally, Torvak growled. You will release our people and withdraw from this region immediately. The Council claims this space in the name of galactic peace. Actually, Chen replied calmly, I have a different proposal. The Terran Republic claims not just this region, but full membership in the galactic community, with all the rights and privileges that entails. Torvak looked confused. That is impossible. New species must be evaluated, processed, and gradually integrated. The procedures take decades. Admiral, Chen said with a cold smile. I am not asking for permission. She nodded to her communications officer, who activated a prepared transmission. The message went out simultaneously to every major world in Council space. Citizens of the galaxy, Admiral Chen's voice broadcast across dozens of star systems. I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Republic. For 2 centuries, humanity has watched the Galactic Council expand across the stars, absorbing species and erasing cultures in the name of peace and unity. The transmission included video evidence of Council activities that had been classified for centuries, forced relocations, cultural suppression programs, and the systematic elimination of species that refused to conform. The Council tells you that integration is voluntary, Chen continued, but their own records tell a different story. 47 species have been completely absorbed in the past 1,000 years. Their languages are dead. Their traditions are forgotten. Their children grow up believing they are something they are not. On the command center's displays, reaction to the broadcast was immediate. Protest movements erupted on Council worlds. Species that had been considering joining the Council suddenly changed their minds. Even some existing Council members began questioning their membership. The age of Council expansion is over, Chen announced. Humanity offers a different path. True cooperation between equals. Diversity instead of conformity. Freedom instead of control. Admiral Torvak cut into the transmission. This is an act of war against the legitimate government of the galaxy. No, Chen replied. This is an act of liberation. She made a gesture and suddenly the space around Torvak's fleet filled with ships. Thousands of human vessels appeared out of nowhere. Their stealth systems finally deactivated. The Council fleet found itself completely surrounded, but these were not just human ships. Mixed among them were vessels from dozens of species that had been secretly working with humanity for years. The resistance movement that the Council thought it had crushed was alive and well. Impossible, Torvak breathed, staring at his tactical displays. The Cathani were relocated 50 years ago. The Morden culture was banned. Relocated to human space, Chen explained, where they have been building new homes and planning their return. Admiral, meet the Terran Republic. Humanity and 37 other species who refused to surrender their freedom. Dr. Veltar watched the displays in amazement. You saved them. All the species the Council tried to eliminate. We saved who we could, Admiral Chen said, and we have been preparing them for this day. The broadcast continued, but now other voices joined it. Leaders of the supposedly extinct species spoke directly to their scattered people. The galaxy learned that the Council's victims had not simply disappeared. They had found refuge and allies. Admiral Torvak's fleet was hopelessly outnumbered, but he was not ready to surrender. Even if you have more ships, the Council has the industrial might of 3,000 worlds. We will crush you eventually. Admiral, Chen said patiently, you still do not understand. Show him. The display changed to show Council territory from space. As they watched, human ships began appearing throughout Council space. Not attacking, just revealing themselves. Bases that had been hidden for decades suddenly became visible. We are not just surrounding your fleet, Chen explained. We are throughout your entire territory. We have been your neighbors, your trading partners, even your employees for generations. The human refugees you thought were harmless immigrants? They were intelligence operatives. The trading companies you dealt with? They were ours. Torvak's face went pale as the implications hit him. You have been infiltrating us for centuries. We have been living among you, Chen corrected. Working with the decent people in your society, while documenting the crimes of your government. Admiral, we know where every Council leader lives. We know the location of every military base, every supply depot, every secret facility. If we wanted to destroy the Council, we could do it in a single coordinated strike. The command center fell silent as everyone processed this revelation. The humans had not just been hiding. They had been preparing the most comprehensive intelligence operation in galactic history. Then why have you not attacked? Torvak asked quietly. Because we are not conquerors, Admiral Chen replied. We are liberators. We do not want to destroy the Council. We want to reform it. She activated a new display showing a proposed galactic constitution. True representative government. Equal votes for all species. Protection for minority cultures. An end to forced integration and cultural suppression. Captain Zixandra read through the document with growing amazement. This would change everything. The Council as it exists would have to be completely rebuilt. Yes, Chen agreed. And that is exactly what is going to happen. Admiral Torvak stared at his tactical displays. His fleet was surrounded by forces he could not defeat. His territory was infiltrated by operatives he could not remove. His government's crimes were being broadcast to every world in the galaxy. What are your terms? He asked finally. Admiral Chen smiled, but this time it was genuinely warm. Admiral, there are no terms. This is not a surrender. This is an invitation to join something better. The main display showed the galaxy as it could be, thousands of species working together as equals, trade and cultural exchange flourishing between truly independent worlds, scientific cooperation that respected different approaches to knowledge. The Terran Republic is not another empire, Chen explained. We are the beginning of what the galactic community was supposed to be, a place where every species can contribute its unique strengths while maintaining its own identity. Over the following hours, the standoff transformed into something unprecedented in galactic history. Instead of battle, there was negotiation. Instead of conquest, there was cooperation. One by one, Council member species began declaring their independence from the old system and requesting to join the new one. Not all of them, but enough to make the change inevitable. Captain Zixandra stood on the observation deck of Station Liberty, watching as ships from dozens of species worked together to build something new. The age of the Galactic Council was ending, but something better was beginning. The quiet is over, she said to herself, remembering her first message about this region. Behind her, Admiral Chen nodded. Yes, Captain. Humanity has arrived, and we brought friends. In the distance, human ships moved among vessels from across the galaxy, no longer hiding, no longer waiting, but finally taking their place in a community of equals. The galaxy would never be the same.